I just got out of the theater. I've watched Mad Max Fury Road. And I have to say, this is an amazing, incredible fucking movie. 2 hours, 2 straight hours with my eyes just glued to the fucking screen. It's been a while since I've been that enthralled by a movie. Now, a lot of you know that I was pretty fucking upset with the Avengers, liking the first Avengers movie, and the second one sucking so much fucking cock. You know, I talked about a lot of things in that Avengers review. You know, I talked about stylish action. I talked about memorable moments. I talked about the overuse of CGI and how it's killing modern cinema. I mean, it's not really like, there's still a lot of great movies out there, but you know what I mean. It's just, it's destroying modern cinema. It's not good. It's never going to be like something that's going to really just take over just man-made film. And it's got to be fucking said already. It really does. That CGI is just, you can't rely on it to get you through a whole movie. And that's where Mad Max Fury Road comes in. This is a fucking amazing fucking movie, and it is incredible. It's like virtually no CGI, and if it is in there, maybe in some parts you might suspect it a tad bit, but it's barely noticeable, and it's not distracting like it was in Age of Ultron. In Age of Ultron, it was very distracting. It really fucking limited my enjoyment of that movie. I couldn't fucking stand it. You know, I was really having a very hard fucking time sitting there and taking that CGI. And in Mad Max, I mean, you just have so much great stylish action. There's action throughout this whole film. And, you know, it's 2 straight hours, 2 complete hours. And I never felt once like this movie could have been cut down or there could have been anything taken out of it. This movie is just like it was when George Miller put out the first Mad Max movie starring Mel Gibson. That's always been a favorite of mine. I always enjoyed and appreciated the originality and just the overall environment. This is a post-apocalyptic world. They've got that down. It's mostly a barren wasteland. Tom Hardy. Now, that's very interesting with Tom Hardy in this film. He's got a lot less lines than even Mel Gibson did in the original. And I'm not complaining. Now, there's been a lot of talk about, you know, you could have put anybody into this role, and, you know, maybe that's true or not, but, you know, it all comes down to the look. Who's got the tough guy look? At the time, Mel Gibson had that hard, gritty look that, you know, Mad Max was supposed to portray. And Tom Hardy's got the look. I have no complaints here. And the thing is, what I love about this movie and its lack of dialogue is it just doesn't have dialogue for the sake of having dialogue. Dialogue does not make a movie. You know, mostly what does make a movie, well, it does, depending on what it is. If it's a drama, then you better bet your ass there better be some good fucking dialogue in there, to say the very least, because most of the story is going to be told through the words of the characters. This is just basically visual storytelling. You know what's going on. A lot of people have complained about there being a lack of story in this. And, you know, the thing is, you don't go to Mad Max to see a great fucking story. You don't do that. You know, you don't go there looking for an amazing story. You don't. I went to Age of Ultron because, you know, it's a comic book, and most of the time there are enthralling stories. And, you know, and that wasn't one of them. But here in Mad Max Fury Road, there isn't. It says it right there in the title. This takes place on Fury Road. This is a long stretch of fucking desert, and it's basically like one big chase scene. It's not just chase scenes. There's a lot of fights, and it's very fucking stylish. And there's a lot of originality. The fucking villain is like almost looking like Twisty the Clown from American Horror Story, with a big mask, with a big toothy smile mouth on there. And they look pretty fucking awesome. He's got a bunch of minions, a bunch of followers that consider him to be a god. And I love in the opening where there's, you know, people that are his minions, there's children and others, and you see that they've captured Mad Max in the beginning, and they're trying to make him one of them. But then you see that there's also a bunch of other people that look pretty normal, and he has the whole water supply, and you see almost like this whole totalitarian thing going on. He's way up here, his whole fortress is like up on a fucking like cliff, and he's looking down, and it was just classic, you know. It was just really a real throwback, and it felt like something we haven't seen in a while, like a huge, massive dictator just overlooking all these people, and you know, just there, like it speaks about the cinematography right there. You see, just like it's just a great moment, you know, when the visuals just take precedent over everything. You know, the cinematography is just, it's fucking golden. And and I can't even stress how much I love the cinematography in this movie. There is never one moment in this film, unless it's, you know, not noticeable to my eyes, where the camera is like distracted by something that doesn't need to, you know, be filmed. And it's always there to capture the action from the right angle. I did not feel annoyed at all during this movie. And I think everybody knows that when I talk about film, or I talk about anything on this channel, that I get annoyed pretty fucking easily. There's a lot of shit that pisses me off in movies, and I always tell you exactly what bothers me about it. You know, I hate when, you know, there's like small fucking little things that just irritate the fucking hell out of me. And there was never anything like that in this movie. You know, the fucking cinematography was just pinpoint on. I love little touches as they're chasing. You know, you've got this guy who's like fucking playing guitar with massive amps behind him. And it's just, it's so fucking original. It's like they had their own personal guitarist just playing for the villains as they're chasing Mad Max. You know, it's just like a great fucking little add-on there. Then there's also like a little skirmish that Tom Hardy's involved in with Charlize Theron, you know, which she has more lines than Tom Hardy does, but you know, she plays her role pretty well. And there's like this one moment where the gun goes off near, you know, Max's head, and you just hear ringing, and it's kind of like, was that part of the soundtrack, or are we supposed to be like hearing what he's hearing? And I don't know, I just really fucking enjoyed every single fucking moment of this. Just all little touches, everything like just went so fucking well. And then you've got the part where he's like chained to the guy, and you know, he's like a turncoat for the, you know, for the main villain. He ends up on Max's side, and there's a big skirmish, you know, and then they're using like car doors to deflect the bullets, and this whole fucking scene where the chain's wrapped around, and you got the gun and oh my god. This is like how action is supposed to be done, with real people performing it. Even if it's a stunt double, it's still real people. Thank fucking Lord for that. Oh, thank the fucking Lord indeed. It's just so fucking pleasing to finally see a movie where it's really happening, and it ain't just a fucking computer image and just digitized faces meant to look like the actors. I was so satisfied by this movie. It really was, like, I really came out with a sense of, just, you know, like, the wow factor, like, my jaw just being dropped. And I love the fucking score of this movie. It's, like, heavy on the drums. And then you add in, like, the guitar riffs are kind of part of the fucking soundtrack with, you know, the guy who's, like, on the villain side, the guitarist I mentioned before. It's, like, kind of, like, part of the soundtrack. It's, like, it's really awesome. Like, just everything just has a place in this movie, and it's placed so well. And it's like so many weird original characters. And then there's this part where they're driving by because, you know, fucking Max and Charlize Theron, they're like looking for this green landscape that she like, knew about when she was a kid, and they finally go back and she sees, like, her whole fucking, all the villagers that she grew up with, and they don't even realize that they've passed that green place that they're searching for. And it's, like, inhabited by, like, they say crows, but there's, like, these ghouls, and they're on crutches, and it's, like, I wanted to see more of that. It looked pretty fucking awesome, and it kind of freaked me out, and I was just like, this is such an amazing fucking world. Like, I felt sucked in almost like, you know, kind of like while watching Star Wars. You just get sucked into these worlds, and you're just like, you know, you want to like I wish I could rewind it. Like, I had a fucking remote and this was a DVD or some shit, and I could rewind to that part because it was just so awesome. It's like, whoa, those dudes, they're like, look like they're on crutches, and they're like fucking scary as shit. And then the part of the soundtrack plays, and it's so like eerie, and wow, you know, it's just like, I appreciate so much of what George Miller added to this film. Just every little nuance, you know, every little nook and cranny had something to offer here. You know, and the action's just over the top, and it's fantastic, and it's like, because this movie deserves to be over the top. It deserves to have, you know, just all the things that it did end up having. I mean, it just had all the fucking bells and whistles. And I really couldn't have asked for anything more. And, you know, this is what I'm talking about. This is like stylish action at its finest. And not using any CGI, or very, very little, keeping it to a minimum. You know, so it's okay once in a while if you want to use a little CGI, but just stop it. Just stop trying to get CGI to take over modern cinema. It's just not gonna fucking happen. No one's gonna accept it, except for a couple of fucking numbskulls out there. You know, you've got a couple of million numbskulls who think CGI is the greatest thing ever, you know. I don't think it is. You know, it really fucking pisses me off that a lot of animation isn't hand-drawn anymore. You know, it's just like a lot of things. Like, I love fucking technology, and, you know, like, technology enables me to get on YouTube and make this fucking video. So, you know, I embrace it. I love it. You know, there's a lot of shit, like, with social media. I enjoy using that, but, you know, there's a lot of things that's, like, destroying the fabric of society. But, you know, like, fucking CGI, it's like, you know, it's good, but then it's like bad. Like, George Lucas used CGI to a great benefit, in my opinion. But then, you know, many other people like Michael Bay abuse it. And I ought to also mention that explosions are driving through the desert, and the fucking fire and sand and wind is whipping around, and you just sit back in awe. I think that was just like wind machines and shit. I don't think that was CGI. It looked like it was really happening. And if it was CGI, that is CGI done well. I don't know what the fuck it is. I just seen the movie. I haven't really had a chance to read it. I've avoided all spoilers, all trailers and shit like that. I've only seen the initial trailer in the fucking movie theater. So, you know, I didn't really know too much of what to expect going, and I was all happy for it, you know. I put my expectations like in the middle, and I was pleasantly surprised. Not really surprised. I kind of had a good feeling about this movie, but in the end, it really fucking ruled. I love this fucking movie. This is definitely a big time recommendation for me, from me to you, to whoever the fuck is interested in this shit like me and just enjoys a good original man-made movie. This like really is like, I felt like a real bruised elbow forearm movie that I think Roger Ebert had used that term in the past. I always loved that expression. Yeah, bruised forearm movie, like just really gritty and just very manly and masculine movie, while just, you know, not getting too big for its britches. Just always, you know, this movie really just felt like something original. Like, it felt like George Miller's. It felt like something that wasn't contrived, wasn't artificial, and it just felt very, you know, just, it's really hard to look for the word to explain it, but it felt right, you know. It just did. I really enjoyed it, and it just sat very well with me. It just was enjoyment at every minute for me, you know. It's like, if there's some other problems with this film that I'm not seeing, if you want to criticize the lack of the story or anything like that, or the lack of dialogue. And, you know, it's kind of why I don't really remember the name of the villain, but I remember what he looked like. So, you know, I apologize for that. I get on Wikipedia and cheat and look at their names and stuff. But, you know, you know, so if you want to criticize me for that, that's all right. But, you know, the thing is, like, I enjoyed that there wasn't an overabundance of bad dialogue or forced dialogue or dialogue just for the sake of having it. When they do that, everybody fucking complains. They're like, oh, there's too much dialogue, there's too much useless dialogue. So finally, a guy like George Miller comes around and gives us, you know, minimal dialogue and just cuts out the fucking bullshit, gives us action and gives us great action and great stylish action at that. And people want to complain about it. And to those people, I say, get a fucking life. Get a fucking grip. And, you know, get a fucking real opinion that actually makes sense. And to all the people that say that I hate everything, you know, try to fucking fight me on that one, will you? You know, try to come at me based on that. I hate everything, but, you know, there's some people out there who truly do hate everything. You know, that's just a little fucking insult that people like to throw around here when they come on this channel, like to watch my videos. They like to say that I hate everything when really, if you look back on my channel, I've really praised a lot of shit just as much as I've bashed a lot of shit. Now, I might have bashed a lot of shit, maybe a couple more videos than I praised it, but are we really going to get all mathematical about it? You know, and even if I'm wrong about that, anyway, sorry about that little brief little pause there. Something happened. The flash is not working on my camera here. Don't know. The light died, whatever. But anyway, what I'm getting at here is, you know, distractions. I'm in the dark now, whatever. If you can't see me, I apologize. But the thing is that, yeah, I enjoyed this movie, and anybody dissing it for whatever the stupid reasons, you know, that it didn't have this and it didn't have that, it's just really a sign that some people can't be pleased. But I'm not really worried about those people. I'm more concerned with how fucking fantastic this movie was. And, you know, gotta really thank George Miller and everybody involved for giving us such a great film here. It's fucking great.